B, where the Mavericks walked away victorious with a 21-7 victory. We come here as we start the game. Kicking off is Hertfordshire kicking the ball away to the London Blitz, playing from left to right. Number 24, I believe it is, getting ready to kick off for Hertfordshire. And we have two receivers back for the Blitz. And both sides ready as they go to kick the ball down the field. Good kick down the middle. A little bit of confusion over who to receive. Number 13 goes to receive and starts running up, pressing towards the right, finds a few lanes, rushing up the sideline, but he is tackled. Looks to have been ruled out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Good return to start off with, and gives me an opportunity to introduce my right-hand man to today, Chris. Chris, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. We had a good first game. I'm ready for the second game. We almost had a bit of a situation with the Blitz. They had 12 players on the field at that kickoff, but they managed to get it sorted out. But yeah, good. Looking forward to this game. First Premier Division game I've seen live.
Should be a tight one. Both teams won and coming into today. Hertfordshire with 2 losses, both of them at the hands of the Warriors, but they managed to come away successful with a win against Solent. So kind of played some teams on either side of the spectrum, not necessarily had a competition against somebody you could say evenly matched. And then the Blitz obviously had a...
On this one, I think they've both beaten Solent, I believe. But yeah, the losses to the Warriors are kind of expected. The losses to the Cats kind of maybe show a bit of that drop from the Blitz this year. So I'm going to back the away team.
Well, let's see what happens in this game as we come out with a big tackle to start off the game. Hand off there to number 16, looked for a cutback lane, wasn't able to find one, and we'll do it all over again on 2nd and 10. And yeah, interesting looks to start off with. Both teams probably going to spend some time figuring each other out. Sort of seeing how they're aligning, where the best players on the field and such. So Blitz coming out in a spread look. The Cheetahs look to be countering that with sort of a hybrid 4-2-5 kind of look. As a quarterback, number 12 looks to drop back. His number 14 on a quick in, and he is tackled, but he fumbles after the tackle, and it's recovered by a Cheetah who's running. And he's taken down at about the 20. He's taken down at about the 29-yard line. There's a flag on the play, so we'll see if the play stands. I don't see any reason on the why it should stand, why the fumble shouldn't stand, but maybe we'll see if there's some yards being tacked on at the end. But yeah, I mean, we'll see, and the flag's been waved. So the Hertfordshire Cheetahs offense will get the ball at the 29-yard line of the Blitz. Surprising play to start out.
Yeah, huge turnover. I mean, I think it was the defensive end, 91, drop out into coverage there, getting a bit creative early doors. He kind of misjudged the angle. It looked like he was going to get a good yardage out of that, and just, yeah, great job getting the ball out and a good recovery. Amazing start for the Cheetahs.
Indeed, and so now they're starting off. They've got great field position out here, starting off on the 29-yard line. Can already taste the potential points that they could go and win here as they come out with a tight end and a receiver to the left and 2 receivers out to the right, running back to the right of the QB. They shift number 14 across the formation, hand the ball off to number 34, and he is stopped in the backfield. Few defensive linemen getting through there for the Blitz. Looked like they might have been trying to set up something like a trap, but unfortunately they let penetration get in before they could let anything develop.
Yeah, I mean, I understand they want to call sort of a inside run early on, first play of the game, but you've just had that sudden change of possession, running into the teeth of that Blitz defense might not be the way you're kind of wanting to go the rest of the game.
And so we see them come again with a tight end formation. I like the Cheetahs were probably hoping they could capitalise a little bit stronger so far, but we'll see what they can do on 3rd down.
Yeah, the ball's just obviously been a bit sort of underthrown, a bit behind him, and he's had to go down and get it. Unfortunately, he did have a bit of room to work with, but not.
Terrible play for the Blitz to be giving up.
Yeah, it's just cheap, and as a coach, you're really angry about those sort of plays because there's just no need for it. The whistle had clearly gone. A couple of the guys on the Cheetah side are keeping number 74's head in it. He was a bit of retaliation there, could have offset those penalties. But it's just, again, we said it in the first game today, those are the kind of penalties that just drive you mad as a coach.
and number 47, be careful, as I assume that that's going to be an unsportsmanlike, and if he gets another one, that can be an ejection, am I right?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
And we will hear what the referee has to say here.
It's a personal foul. So they must have got 74 for the retaliation then.
I was surprised. I would have thought the referees would sort of give a certain level of protection being allowed, but they have come in and they've set the tone that they are not going to have any after the whistle nasties, and now we will be looking at 3rd and long for the Cheetahs after getting the ball in London Blitz territory. Quarterback, low snap, drops back, pump fakes outside. We managed to find a man wide open, and number 12 just cannot get his head around. They managed to get a perfect look there, faking that bubble screen, and that receiver just could not bring that ball in. Gotta say, that's a really poor play from him. I would have thought he'd be able to bring in a ball like that. It was right in the bucket on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge missed opportunity for this Cheetahs team. I mean, you can't come into a place like this and pass those up. He's wide open. I mean, even if you want the quarterback to take a little bit off it because he's walking into the end zone, the receiver has to be in that play.
Yeah, you feel it's early in the game, so often things can change. But if they do end up sort of, maybe losing this game by a score, they can look at it and they can say they had their opportunity very early to set a completely different tone of the game. And we'll see. But we'll see how that plays out. Maybe that's just warning signs for more things to come, and they'll start to pick it up. They find themselves punting here on their 35, hoping to pin them deep. Might have taken that delay of game just to make it a little bit easier, to give them some more room so they're able to pin them deep, because it can be quite challenging to get that punt just right, and obviously you don't want to just punt the ball into the return and nice and easy for him to maybe have a lane to go down the field.
Yeah, well, in return for that, the Blitz have actually declined the penalty.
We've got a nice little chess game going on here, as we will punt the ball off from 35, number 24 hoping to pin the ball nice and deep. Let's see how it goes. Good snap, gets the ball away, good height on it. And the ball does bounce into the end zone there. Not the outcome he was hoping for, but at the end of the day, you've got the offense starting on the 20, so still decent field position for the defense. Blitz have got a lot to show that they can move the ball still, for us to have, confidence that they're going to move the ball down the field. So, both teams have had the ball. Neither team could really do a lot with it, and it seems to be mostly mis-execution as opposed to necessarily either defense coming out and setting the tone.
Yeah, for sure. Fumble early on by the Blitz and then missed opportunity by Hertfordshire. So we're effectively starting the game afresh, pretty close to where they got the ball in the first place.
Both teams got the jitters out, and the Blitz will be hoping to move the ball down the field a little bit better on this drive as they come out with a trips look. The linebacker creeping down, but he doesn't come in blitz. Ball's thrown over the middle, and it's picked off by number 5, making his way towards the end zone, and he is in for the touchdown. No flags on the field, and immediately Hertfordshire come back and take the ball and put points on the board. What do you see there, Chris?
What a response. The Cheetahs defence obviously deciding they're going to take matters into their own hands. It's a great play. It's a really poor throw. The defender does a great job getting his hand to tip it, just puts it straight into the hand of the guy behind him, and yeah, great hustle to get down the field and return it for a touchdown. And I mean, we talk about two plays and 2 turnovers from the Blitz. There is not a worse way to start this game on offense. It is as bad as it can get.
It's interesting. I don't know about you, but when we're sort of just up here, just sort of observing things pre-game, it did seem to be a sloppy pre-game from both sides, really. They didn't really seem to be too organised. Didn't look like a team that either team really looked like they were a team that were going to come out and dominate this game. And it does seem like the Blitz have started off a little bit behind the pace as we're just adjusting the field goal stick so they can actually be kicked. This is Brickball, ladies and gentlemen, at its finest. And very shortly we will have the PAT coming up to try and make the game 7-0, currently 6-0 pending that try.
We've actually recruited a second goalpost down there by the looks of it, holding the sticks around that way.
The kick is up and it is good. So it will now be a 7-0 game in favour of Hertfordshire. So Blitz have had the ball twice. fumbled on the second play of the game, immediately throw a pick with the ball being deflected by a linebacker and intercepted by number 5 for the Hertfordshire Cheetahs, who is George Downs. So George Downs with the pick 6 touchdown from about sort of the 30-yard line. He made the pay and then was able to run down the sideline. It must be really tough when you're the offense. You've got to come back out. You just made a play, bad play, and now you've got to go straight back out there and put that behind you. In
some ways, though, that's often the best way. You know, you make that play and you can just come straight back out and try and fix it. The only downside is you've now done it twice. You know, you're starting to think, are we a way to do it a third time? You know, normally, as I say, you would want to get straight back out there, but yeah, they don't look set. And you were right about the pre-game, and things didn't look that sort of intense. I mean, I think the heavy shower we had was maybe part of that. I know a few of the Cheetahs guys were standing outside when it happened and maybe cooled off a little bit. But yeah, it's not been a fast start from the Blitz, that's for sure.
Well, let's see if they can find their footing now as number 24 looks to kick the ball off down the field. Good kick again, recovered by number 86. And he leads off down the middle of the field, pressing towards the left, finds a lane through the middle, but he is tackled down at about the 31-yard line there. Good rallying to stop him, as he looked like he was going to be able to maybe take it off for quite a few yards if he could just break that tackle.
Yeah, that's 2 returns, and on both occasions it looked like there's been more space, looked like there could be a bigger return, and the Cheetahs have really closed in quite quick at the end. Which I've realised, as I've said, it is a shocking pun. I apologise.
It's interesting because I do think we've seen special teams kick returns. They're getting a lot of yards at this level at the moment, and but they don't quite ever seem to be able to break off the big one. But we'll keep an eye on that as we go through the games. They come back out in their trips look again, and this time looking to hand off the ball to backfield, but immediately tackled again. Down at about the 32-yard line, maybe a gain of a yard, maybe not. Cheetahs defense looked like they've adjusted a little bit, moving the linebacker all the way out to kind of play over the trips, but still not quite able to handle the box up front.
Yeah, and one thing that I do know about this Cheetahs defense is that for a number of years now, they've been incredibly aggressive off the ball, and they're showing that again already today.
As they come out again in trips, this time the quarterback will drop back, looking for an option down, finds the running back, but didn't quite get his head round quickly enough. And we've got some afters after the play. One of the offensive linemen not happy with what's going on there and chasing him on after the play. Referee's not throwing any flags, probably just letting him know that isn't going to be continuing. Both sides are pretty feisty at the moment. They don't like each other, which isn't a bad thing at all.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, I mean, I don't know how many times these teams have ever encountered each other, but they look like they've known each other for several years, the way they're kind of chirping away and getting involved in these things.
Yeah, unless they're wearing the helmets, you're not sure if there's any uni-ball rivalries that are crossing over to our Brit Ball games here. As this time they come out with a sort of more of a tight end up back kind of look to the right. Quarterback's dropping back, looking for somebody downfield. Puts the ball into number 84, and the flag is thrown for PI. I can't say that I'm surprised the flag was thrown. He definitely looked a little bit early to my eye.
Yeah, similar to the incident from the first game. I mean, he looked like he got there before the ball, and you're always going to get caught for those.
Feels like a break that the Blitz offense did need. They're struggling to actually move the ball themselves, maybe just putting themselves into a bit better territory. Maybe that will be the jump start that they need to start moving the ball. But they seem to be quite aggressive throwing the ball early when maybe they're not getting the looks that warrant it.
Yeah, and one battle I think is going to be interesting to watch throughout the rest of this game is these last couple of plays. The number 63 from the Cheetahs has been in a dogfight with the left tackle from the Blitz, and he's been really putting a lot of pressure into the backfield. So interested to keep an eye on that, and might see him slip through a couple of times.
Yeah, we saw earlier on that in the game that we watched earlier with the Mavericks at the Blitz B that it was the defensive line on both sides that made the difference. You know, unless either side was getting pressure, both offenses could pretty much do what they want. So it'll be interesting to see how much this defensive line on either side is able to kick in. It's number 23 sort of showing pressure and dropping, but now he does come down. Ball out to number 6 on the left, manages to break a couple tackles. There is a flag on the play, so we'll see what the flag is for. I imagine it's probably an offensive flag, blocking the back or the like, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, generally I find on those kind of screen plays when there's a flag thrown in there, it is probably for holding or blocking the back.
It looks like illegal use of hands to the face potentially.
It was a block
Blocking
in the back. Yeah.
Perfect. So we will be moving this Blitz offense back 10 yards. It's not good for them at the moment. They just don't seem to be able to get out of their own way.
No, and I mean, even on that play there, you know, there was really nothing from it. And again, the defensive end on this side was very close to getting his hands on that as well.
And the thing is, usually in these situations, you want to go to your money plays because those are the ones that can get you back on schedule. But this is the opening of the game. These are meant to be your bread and butter plays in the first place. So we'll see how it all unfolds as we're getting into trips. Look, Hertfordshire was showing pressure but didn't bring it. Number 14 is found on the left side with a nice little hitch, and he is brought down at about the 49-yard line, so nearly at midfield. So he'll be back on schedule at 2nd and 8. Good little play just to get the ball rolling again. Just nice and simple, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's what they tried to do with the previous play, similar to what we've seen the Mavericks doing. Just get that short pass that's basically an extended handoff at that point, and just let the receiver go and make some plays, make some yards, get it in the hands of their playmakers.
I don't want to keep bringing back things to a game that we saw earlier if people weren't watching it. But we did notice that they were able to take away, they were able to get some yards out there on the single receiver side, but eventually they did start taking it away. It's not a matchup you can have forever. But they throw the ball out to number 3 on the left-hand side. He's able to get them into 3rd and 2. We see number 57, that left tackle. We were talking about him in a dogfight earlier with number 67, I believe it was, on the edge. 63 even. He's then found himself entangled with another player and letting him know he's there. It's a really physical game on both sides of the ball to start, which is it's a different tone to what we saw last time. Last time the physicality didn't seem to make too much of a difference in the outcome of the game, whereas this one seems to be a very important factor coming in. As we now look at trips to the right on 3rd and 2, not handing the ball off, looking to find number 6 on a little hitch over the middle, and he is able to bring the ball in, and he's able to move the chains there. Much more what you would expect from this offense on these last couple plays.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing as well from the defensive side is that even on these short pass plays, they're immediately there to make the tackle. The receiver there reaching out when he didn't need to, and I know that kind of bit of heart and mouth moment, especially with a team that are so aggressive to the ball as the Cheetahs.
I think it'll be interesting to see how the Cheetahs use this the outside linebacker. Sort of, I generally call him like an apex defender, number 3. At the moment, he's sort of flared out over number 2. I wonder if maybe they need to move him in a little bit closer to the box. So they hand the ball off to number 34 on an outside run, and he is tackled on the edge there. No blockers out in front of him, as we have a man down on the far side. He seems to be in a lot of pain, holding his knee, unfortunately. We hope he's better. I didn't see what happened. I imagine that there was maybe a backside cut or something, but we'll hopefully they will be okay. This Blitz run game, for so many years we saw the Blitz have such a dominant run game, and often it sort of revolved around that inside run, and they just don't seem to be able to find anywhere near the same success early in this run game at all.
Yeah, and I think we've seen the Cheetahs as well sort of spread out that apex defender, as you're saying, and then the Blitz have replied by trying to run outside, which kind of seems counterproductive to what you're wanting to do. You know, they're giving themselves a better opportunity to set the edge, and the Blitz have went straight after the edge and met with not just very little success but a loss of yards.
It's challenging when you want to run outside and you want to use the wide receivers as the focus point when you're trying to get those blocks off, because it's much harder to make those blocks in space than it is to maybe set up some pin pulls with your O-linemen to maybe get leads out that way. So it will be interesting to see what Blitz try and do to figure out their run game, because it is going to be something important. We've seen from them early on that maybe that passing game isn't something that can be relied upon, just because I think it might be prone to mistakes. So having answers in that run game is going to be really important for them.
Yeah, and they've got to find the answers, and we've seen a bit of improvement on this drive with some of that short yardage passes. Maybe that's just what they need to stick to just now, to try and really get some momentum behind them.
Well, hopefully this player will be able to make his way off the field, hopefully by his own power. They seem to be trying to get him up now, and he he does seem to be limping off with the support of his teammates.
I think that's a female player. I think it's Yaz Kazoo. 96. If we haven't got that roster correct.
I do, yes.
Yeah, it looks like Yaz.
And so that was Keaton, Okona, Francis on the floor there. So we hope that they get better soon as we look to restart play again. This time going with trips into the boundary, freeing up lots of space for their backside receiver, number 84, left on his own on the right-hand side. Quarterback in the gun, waiting for the snap. And the Cheetahs jump offside, number 55, the defensive ends there, trying to get a jump on the ball, but making contact with the left tackle, and that will now his goal line. Instead, he just takes it off one bounce and manages to get them field position down to, I think it's being marked at about the 26-yard line, it seems.
And I'll tell you what, that coach is not happy with them.
It's always about the process and not the outcome, and that process is one that can lead to a lot of bad outcomes, even though we only saw one of the good ones.
Yeah, for sure.
As now this Hertfordshire offence comes out, it's the first time we're properly seeing them, I think, really. So let's see what they come out in here.
Pressures, you know, that was their, you know, they're taking their shot downfield, showing that they're actually willing to do it as well. But great break up by number 4.
I always think those are early warning signs, though, because there was looking for something. 71 comes in his face and doesn't manage to get make the tackle, but he manages to rough up quite a few tackles and manages to truck forward all the way for a first down. I'll be interested to see what the flag in the backfield is for, but impressive play to escape the pressure there. And
it's an effort, but at the same time, it's the quarterback making a statement for his team that he's willing to go there and put his body on the line to get them moving the sticks.
Yeah, I think especially after some of those plays where maybe he wasn't quite able to connect with the receivers, it's probably a good confidence boost for them to know that, you know, he may not be executing on every throw, but like he's in this game with them. You know, he's willing to go out there, put his body on the line. You can trust that he's always right in there to break it up, and he earns I use that word, punting from what would have been good territory to punt in to now being backed up and potentially giving some room for a nice return to develop. But we'll have to see how this punt goes. Being marched back a hell of a long way here, as they will be punting away from the 25-yard line. And the sticks haven't changed over, but it will be 4th down. Making their way out very slowly for this punt. It does seem like this team has a bit of a lethargic feel to it.
The positive for the Blitz here is the fact that their defense is really showing out early on. They're aggressive. They're after this Cheetahs offense. So, you know, as long as they can keep them in the game and keep them at one score, you know, all it takes is that one play from the offense to get them back.
Well, let's see what they can do here then as they come out this time with more of a wing look with a couple tight ends to the right-hand side, not in the, or one tight end to the right-hand side, sorry. Send that number 14 in motion. Bad snap, and quarterback just has to fall on it there. There's just been some real execution errors on either side, whether that's poor throws, bad snaps, just neither team looking sharp.
Things you just don't expect to see from teams in the Premier Division. You know, we don't. You know, we're not in the first game of the season where you see those kind of errors happening due, you know, lack of pre-season games or whatever. So it's surprising to see teams well into the season at this point making these kind of mistakes.
Yeah, especially coming off the back, like we've seen some very competitive, very high-level Div 1 football, but hopefully these teams will pick things up as they go. As show pressure off the edge, bad snap again. Quarterback manages to get the ball out of his hands and get the ball downfield to number 84. Both of them with a little bit of hand fighting downfield, but number 4 was able to do enough to break up the play. Physical game in all aspects so far. It's been good to watch on plays like that. But although it has come with some negatives, but it's been back and forth so far.
Yeah, some great play by the guys in the secondary as well. You know, had a pass break up down this end from the Cheetahs, and that's another strong pass break up there. for the Blitz this time. Quarterback throwing off his back foot because of the low snap, but he still goes and makes a great play on it.
Well, let's see what they can do. Once again, find themselves in third down very quickly. Coming out with that trips bunch look to the right. Quarterback looking to take the snap. And they do bring pressure. They bring 5. Number 5 coming straight down the middle. Number 84 is able to catch the ball over the middle, but only manages to get about 9 of the 14 yards that they needed for the first down. And they look to be bringing out the punt unit early. Very quickly, this has become a game that's all about field position.
I was saying that the quarterback is staying in the game.
And it's causing a bit of confusion on the Blitz side as they've brought their punt returner out, but he's now coming back off the field. And this is a big fourth down here. If they're able to convert and they're able to maybe pick up a couple more first downs and just set the tone of the game a little bit, the game could change a little bit of a different shape. But we'll see if they can convert it here. Quarterback takes the ball, good snap this time, looks outside, and number 56 is able to make a play and break it up. Big linebacker there working out to that curl flat area. Impressive play from him.
Yeah, he got out there quick. Sorry, no. Yeah, he got out there quick, able to make a great play on it. It's a good stop for the Blitz, it's a good turnover. The Cheetahs obviously have confidence in their defence, and that's why they felt they could go for it. But yeah, that was much better. But the Blitz defence, they've started fast today.
Yeah, and they're probably feeling a bit frustrated given that they're down in this game because there wasn't much they can do about it. They're not able to stop a pick 6 turnover. But hopefully they keep trying to build on this and maybe they keep making more negative plays, see if they can force some turnovers themselves. Maybe that might be what the Blitz offense needs to get themselves back in position to try and take this game. But we are now entering the second quarter as we will be flipping sides of the field with the Blitz now looking to drive from left to right to start off, and they will be looking at first down on about the 45-yard line. And once again, we do want to apologise if you're having any lagging issues on the stream. We're doing the best that we can. Unfortunately, our very high-tech internet, there was an issue with it, so we are using the glorious wonders of hotspots and praying that they work downfield. But there was a flag, I believe, in the backfield. Looks to be offside on the so I imagine that will be accepted, and we will do it all again, but this time on 1st and 5. But let's just double check that that is in fact the call.
Yeah, appears to be the case.
And it will indeed be 1st and 5, so we will be doing it all over again. So the Blitz offense coming out in spread this time. The running back to the left of the quarterback, getting some instructions from him. Hertfordshire defense showing a little bit of pressure down there, bringing that apex defender down. And we now have another flag.
False start this time on the left tackle, I believe.
It really feels like neither team can really settle into this game. It does have that sort of pre-season, early season feel so far.
Yeah, it's been that way since the start as well, and as you say, it's quite surprising, as I say, for two teams in the Premier Division well into the season to be having these issues, but maybe a bit too much adrenaline, a bit hype for the game, but yeah, so far something's a bit off.
I do wonder if it's symptomatic of the lack of pressure to perform, in the sense that you've got those two teams at the top that are pretty much locked up for the playoffs already. We've got a team in Solent that isn't quite performing at the level of the other teams. It does almost feel like maybe there's less to aspire to, but hopefully we get a competitive game still, as number 32 tries to make a run out to the right and isn't able to get anything, as we got a couple of linemen going at it downfield after the play as well. But it seemed to be spirited competition more than anything nasty, as it looks to set up 2nd and 12.
Yeah, I mean, they look to be more enjoying each other's competitiveness as opposed to being against it there with the friendly high five at the end of it as well. But again, you know, the running back looked to have the edge there, but it's a great tackle by the defence to make the stop.
And so we'll be looking at, they'll be back in spread again. as we get to 2nd and 12. Quarterback takes the snap, looking to the right, plays it out to the running back, and once again cannot quite connect. He just doesn't seem to be on the same page right now.
No, and we've seen a couple of these. The ball's just too far ahead. It's just a little bit behind, and you know, we're talking about check down throws. I mean, these should be a quarterback's bread and butter here. We should be able to see these being executed fairly simply. And again, there was a lot of room for the running back to work with there. So they're getting the right play calls in the right situation. They're just not executing at the moment.
Seems like he might be struggling with touch a little bit, maybe putting a little bit too much on the short throws, maybe not quite enough on some of those deeper ones.
Yeah.
We'll see how that, if that seems to improve as the game goes on. As we're looking at 3rd and 12 here, quarterback dropping back, scanning to that trip side to the right, looking for it all down the field. Number 84, and a late flag there. Looked like he maybe had his hands around his waist. A couple of players calling for it to be uncatchable. The referees will discuss what they saw. I think based on the previous flags that they may have thrown, I think sort of in the grey area of whether that was or wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, you see the hand come up and grab round at the side, and you know, we talk about like the dark arts of the game, as it were, but you know, it's in plain sight of the officials, and you know, it almost seems to slow him down. And I think you do that, you're going to get called for it most of the time. So it didn't even feel like it was necessary. It kind of felt like he'd kind of got that battle won, didn't need to do it, but. Well, it's a free first down for the Blitz, a free 15 yards, and they'll be happy to take it.
Yeah, and they really are a team that needs that, because they really are struggling to move the ball by themselves, and they must be really thankful for those yards, because it just gives them an opportunity just to, you know, maybe they can get a first down their own here and they find their feet. But let's see what happens as we're looking at first down, trips out to the left on the 41-yard line. And they hand the ball off to number 28 as he's going straight through the middle, and he goes and gets a first down. Look to get about 14 yards or so there. We have a Blitz player with his helmet off on the field, so he's likely he's going to have to miss that play to centre. So backup centre is going to have to come in. Hopefully, the snapping issues.
It looks like they're going to call a timeout so they can get him back into the game straight away.
Well, yeah, seems to be a smart play. Not the outcome that you want, but sometimes the outcome you have to take. And we will get a timeout from the Blitz, so number 55 will be eligible for the next snap. And this is probably the most interesting part of the game that we've had so far.
Yeah,
with first down on the 26-yard line.
Just a bit of old school running there, just straight up the middle, no nonsense. Let the offensive line take care of the defensive line. And maybe that's just what they need to do. Maybe we need to see the Blitz just go simple and just start, you know, really try to put some pressure on this Cheetahs interior.
Yeah, and we see the Cheetahs defense seems to be making some decent plays though so far. Is there anything in particular you've seen from them that's sort of causing them to have the success they have against the run game so far?
They're just winning the battle in the trenches as well, and they're able to, you know, because of the way they're playing in the back end with you know, sort of that almost like too high look as well. You know, they're confident that they can cover the pass game, and it means they can be a bit more creative with stunts in the middle, and they're just executing well. They've got the edge contained at the moment. They're winning in the interior, and when you're doing those things, it makes it easier to make the plays.
And number 3 as well, I think, is a guy that seems to give him a lot of versatility with that size and that ability to play on the outside edges. As they drop back to pass, but not quite able to connect with number 17 there down the field. They're being aggressive, going for some shots downfield, but just not quite able to convert anything, it seems, so far.
Yeah, and it's kind of symptomatic of what we've seen so far with the checkdowns. Just receiver and quarterback just aren't quite in sync, and again, that's a big opportunity again that really should be 6 points on the board for the Blitz. There really should be making the most of that and scoring there.
Surprising to see that they're playing that too high shoulder. They were able to get an open receiver down the field over the middle, and we'll do it all over again as we look at we're getting spread here, handoff up the middle, but once again just being stuffed and not going anywhere. Been a real struggle for them to get this run game working. Hats off to the defensive line, the linebackers, the Hertfordshire Cheetahs, who are really doing a solid job in their run fits. Do you think it's somewhat scheme related? We saw that both the Mavs and the Blitz B beforehand, running their gap scheme stuff, were getting obviously a lot of open lanes, whereas this zone approach doesn't seem to be having quite the same success.
Well, we talked about this space in between the offensive line as well, and it seems a lot more condensed here from the Blitz.
As they manage to find a six, trucks over first tackler and manages to take the ball inside the 7. He's pumped, Blitz sideline is pumped. They now find themselves in enemy territory and able to smell the end zone from here. Big play on that slant over the top to just get the ball rolling again.
And that's it. Sometimes when your quarterback and your receivers are out of sync, you go to the quick slant, right? Give yourself an opportunity, take the gaps in the middle, and they've executed it well there, and then he's made some extra yards after the tackle.
And so they'll be coming out here on 1st and goal from what looks to be the 9-yard line was the eventual spot, and they will go in trips to the left to try and get the alignments they want. Hertfordshire looking like maybe some man principles somewhat, as they then pull the QB pulls the option, and he is brought down at about the 4-yard line. He seems to not like the high tackle, but we're not playing rugby, so unfortunately he won't get any love for that. Nice little wrinkle there for their run game.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen him we've seen him make the run earlier on, but we've not really seen any quarterback design runs. Nice little pull there, kind of had the Cheetahs defense fooled on this side.
Well, flat route there, nice and open. QB's able to connect with him there. Much needed score for this Blitz offense.
Yeah, and we finally see some life in them as well. And you know, we talk about, you're going to go back to that, the pass interference penalty, and how he didn't really need to do it, and it's led to a score. It's a big swing in momentum. They get a couple of good passes together, and all of a sudden we're all tied up again.
Potentially, but it looks like they're going for 2,
they're going to go for 2.
They might be able to take the lead here. They're moving the sticks around, but I think somebody might have not told him that his effort might potentially be being wasted. Let's see what they look to do here with the points after try. And they will come out to try and get 2 points on the board as they come out with a player in the backfield with the running back, and it looks like not everybody was ready.
Timeout from the Cheetahs.
Yeah, so we have a timeout for the Hertfordshire Cheetahs before the 2-point attempt, and they will have to draw it all up again. Mike, do you think that seeing that guy in motion, the formation they brought out, do you think that helps too, or do you think the Blitz go back to drawing board and come out in something different?
Well, generally speaking, you've got your 2-point plays that you have going into a game that you are confident with, that these are your favourite plays to get that short yardage into the end zone. So getting a good look at that, and I feel like that timeout is probably more tactical than anything else, to get a look at what the Blitz were going to do. And it kind of becomes up to them if they're going to run something similar, if they've got something they can run off the back of that with the same motion, or whether we're going to see them try and change it up now and maybe go to something they're not as happy with.
I'd be surprised if they attack the left, because I do feel like the left-hand side is where the sort of stronger players are for the Cheetahs. I think we've seen that the defensive line, the right-hand side, seems to be sort of holding up and doing their job, but I think in terms of the linebackers and the players that sort of have to sort of scrape over and rally to make that play, they seem to have a stronger presence on the left-hand side than the right. But we'll see how they come out here. And it looks like they are going with a slightly different look. Or maybe not. We'll see once they all get themselves settled. Yes, they are, as they come out this time with a wing set, as number 6 moves into a tight end look instead of being down the backfield, and they will toss the ball out to number 27. Ball bobbles on the ground, and not enough space after he picks up the ball to try and take the ball into the end zone, as they rallied to stop that, and the score is now 7-6 in favour of the Cheetahs. Seems to be a decent play design. They managed to get blockers sort of pulling out to the outside, but just not enough space with the fumbled pitch for him to take off. Yeah,
and again, like, it just comes down to that execution. The play call seems to have been the right one. They had the opportunity, but the execution wasn't there again. But then it goes back to that timeout from the Cheetahs that forced their hand into using a play that they weren't looking to run.
And it might seem fairly inconsequential, you know, just burning a timeout, but they've saved them from going down by a point. And given the way that both offences have moved the ball, there's every chance that that might be the last score in this game. For a neutral viewer that enjoys offence, we hope that there will be many more points, but you never know given how both teams have been moving the ball. Let's see how it develops though. We've got number 34 looking to kick the ball off to the Hertfordshire Cheetahs. They have one receiver back on the right hand side, not the left, and the ball is kicked down. Miscommunication, but it is picked up, works out to the right hand side looking for a lane, and they managed to get him down to about 37, I want to say, and now Hertfordshire coming out. This is an important drive for them to kind of gain back a bit of momentum they might have lost.
Yeah, and they need to give that defence a rest as well. I mean, the times we've seen the offence on the field, they've been off and then immediately back on it again. They've been, they've failed to kind of really make any yardage, and it's put the defence right back out on the field. That was a big drive from the Blitz. The Blitz have scored. They need to try and give their defence a bit of a breather and really try and put something together themselves.
And they come out with a wing look to the right, two receivers stacked in nice and tight, really condensing the field here as they look to hand the ball off in a little jet sweep to number 2. Quickly hits the right hand side and manages to get about, I want to say, 8 or so yards. Not quite able to get the full first down, but definitely puts their offence on the right foot to start off the drive. Nice little wrinkle from them. We haven't really seen something like that from their offence.
Yeah, the little sort of like shovel pass look there. And I mean, the Blitz weren't really ready for it either. It was a nice gain. Probably one of their better plays so far from the offence.
And they will now change things up, moving to their juice formation with the tight end to the right, as they will be looking at 2nd and 4. Quarterback calling out some changes at the line of scrimmage. Receiver didn't quite hear that on the far side, so he's tightening things up there. Takes the handoff and gives it to his running back. He's able to rumble and stumble forward. Looks like he might just be short of the first down marker. We'll see where the official spots him. But third and inch isn't the spot you hate, although they have given him the first down, it seems, yes.
I think the Blitz tackler there actually helped him over the line and got him the first down there.
It's always interesting. I find that there are a lot of times where I think that they've actually not quite got there, but the referees love a generous spot on 3rd and inches. So instead we will be doing 1st and 10, just inside the Hertfordshire Cheetahs territory, not quite over the halfway line yet. Bringing pressure down, and they don't quite manage to get there, but tacklers rally and manage to bring him down at about the 49-yard line. Both teams have really sort of been mixing things up pre-snap, looking like those linebackers are coming down and blitzing, but most of the time they've been dropping off so far.
Yeah, and I think both teams are showing they've got significant confidence in their defences and being able to mix those things up. They're confident that the guys can handle those changes. We've seen a defensive end drop out into coverage. They're not afraid to try different things that we don't see very often.
And they send their receiver in motion, number 14 coming across the formation, and they toss the ball off to number 32, who isn't able to find any yards down the field there, as we get a few afters from 21 and 14 getting tangled up, but they seem to have resolved any issues that may have been there. And we are looking at 3rd and 8. Once again, this Hertfordshire team is burning through their downs very quickly early on and not getting a lot of progress down the field for it.
Yeah, I mean, they at least managed to get sort of a first down this time, but then they're immediately back in this 3rd and long situation. And, as I say, it needs to be a sustained drive from them to really sort of make much progress.
And so they'll send number 14 in motion again, sort of creating a trips look with a tight end to the right. Quarterback is dropping back, looking for somebody. Vines is a receiver on the outside, but not quite able to execute there. Because normally, when you see two safeties downfield, you expect them to be able to kind of play either half of the field and be able to help on those outside shots. Yet we've seen both teams able to create we've been able to see both teams get their receivers over the middle of the field with no safeties in sight. How do you think that's coming about? As there's a very short punt there, which I believe is going to just bobble out. And yeah, so the Blitz will get the ball at about the 37-yard line in their half. So yeah, so what have you...
Tackle on that short dump-off pass, and he's then left with no one behind and a receiver streaking behind them. Other ways offenses will do it is they'll run different receivers at different levels, and what you often find is maybe that the outside receiver who the safety's keying off of will move in towards and then leave space behind for the inside receiver to move out the way. But in that situation, we just had two receivers in fairly similar proximity and nobody there. It's just tends to just be because of a bit of a busted coverage.
That makes sense. And as we've got a timeout, we can maybe expand a little bit more. Do you think maybe, so obviously there's, you've got man coverage where DB will just stick on the guy that they're assigned to. You've got zone coverage, but then you've got that hybrid with that match system where players are sort of, defenders and players are sort of picking guys up depending on their route levels. Do you think maybe there's maybe some of that involved? Maybe they're sort of sticking on that slot so they can be forced to move out to the side of the field rather than staying over the top in their zone, as you may sort of see in a traditional cover 4 or cover 2.
I mean, I think if that is what we're seeing, it's maybe what's causing the issues as well, with guys not really understanding their assignment. And sometimes if that is the situation, it's better for you to just simplify, right? Go after the kind of things you know what to do, make the assignments easy, and just let the players go out there and make the plays.
And we see the Blitz hand off to number 34, the running back, and once again, just not quite able to open up any lanes on the inside. We see them sending a guy in motion there. Linebackers are not respecting any action off that motion or moving from their initial spot, and they're just able to come down through their assigned gaps and close everything up.
Yeah, and what you tend to be seeing when the player doesn't follow the motion is that you're getting some sort of zone look from the defense, and they'll pass off to somebody on the other side. So they're quite content with the Blitz knowing that and just letting their players execute it.
And they throw the ball out to the sideline to their running back, but once again, not able to there. Their box a bit now, they're not getting as many trips looks and having to bring that apex defender out. They're able to bring those linebackers in, and they're able to threaten with pressure a lot more.
Yeah, and I think that plays into the Cheetahs' hands because they're so aggressive on the interior as well, and they're winning that battle anyway, that allowing them to then bring extra bodies into the box to then stop the run is going to put the Blitz in situations that they don't want to be in, especially when they're not getting those swing passes right.
And so they come out in trips right as we're once again in a familiar position of 3rd and long. Quarterback dropping back, looking for a player over the middle, and he does connect to number 86, who's got daylight ahead of him. Only a few men to beat, but the ball's fumbled and recovered. And so he's definitely down. He's definitely got a big chunk of yardage there. Surprised he was able to fit the ball in there. It looked like there was not much space, but he was able to connect with his slot receiver there, number 86.
Yeah, and similar to what we've seen from the Cheetahs on the previous drive, they almost had two receivers in a fairly similar area and just not much of in the way of defenders around them, but the space was tight. He's fit it into the soft spot of that zone coverage, and great execution by the Blitz on that play, and all of a sudden we've seen this big momentum swing where the Blitz are now trying to drive and take the lead.
It definitely feels like momentum is on their side, but we have seen them prone to mistakes. They do need to capitalise while that momentum is with them. As they come out again in that trips left look, hand the ball off to number 34, and once again he's tackled by number 37. Great job there rallying and tackling, and even on, maybe they've got to go away from these early down runs because so far they just haven't been able to figure out a way that works for them.
Yeah, and the difficulty they're facing here is that when they try and run up the middle, the interior tackles on the Cheetahs' defensive line are just frankly winning the battle at the moment. And they've just got too much speed that when the Blitz are trying to attack the edge, that they're able to get there and make the tackle. They're keeping persistent, they're trying the run, but they need to maybe find some way to get the odds in their favour on it.
And so we see them come out with trips to the left, dropping back, looking to pass number 6 over the middle, but he's broken up by number 22, who was there immediately. And I think the quarterback's probably looking at his, the receiver's looking at his quarterback thinking he's sort of put him into a bit of a challenging situation to come and try and bring that ball down with coverage around him that tight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll have words about that one later or in film sessions during the week. You know, they've went back to that slant, and the Cheetahs were just ready for him. That was a great hit.
Well, they come back out again with their trips look to the left. About 3rd and 7, I want to say, as they fake the handoff, looking out, and they find number 86 over the middle, and he's tackled down at about the 6-yard line, I want to say, and it will be 1st and goal. Looked like they brought some pressure and decent coverage, but better offense in the end.
Yeah, I think they actually had the coverage, but 91, I think, got a little bit excited when they seen the ball, and yeah, I think he just got there a bit too early, and it's went over his head, and that's 86 again making that play in that little soft spot there.
It definitely feels like their offensive line is doing a better job in pass protection than they are able to in their run game, which tells me that maybe it's the linebackers that are really being the key to stopping the run as opposed to this defensive line. As they come out with spread and they hand the ball off to the running back, he's able to make yards and he breaks a couple tackles, gets pushed, and I believe he should be in the end zone by now, but he has been ruled down.
Oh, it's a turnover.
And the Cheetahs seem to be able to steal the ball during that pushing war, and they get the ball right on the goal line as it was number 3, Jordan Legg, who's able to come down with the fumble. And that is a very surprising play. We have an injured player down on the field, and that is a bizarre play, one you very rarely see.
I mean, we talked about the mistakes, right? And that's what it is. It's another mistake, and it's great attacking the ball from the Cheetahs defense. You know, from up here, we can't see what went on in that melee, but we know that there was a lot of try to push, get him over the line, and the Cheetahs have a possession again. It's an unbelievable turn of events there.
And this is why we said you've got to strike while the iron's hot, because even when this Blitz team has been doing well, putting plays together, finding success, they're still not, eliminating all of their mistakes. And they're obviously their defense. I think their defense should probably be quite confident in this situation, given how they've performed so far. They've been able to hold Hertfordshire, lots of 3 and outs so far. If anything, they've been their own worst enemy, giving up quite a few 3 yards with penalties. They've got to have their head switched on here. I'm assuming they've got to be thinking safety.
Yeah, and I think, from a defensive standpoint, this is where you want to be aggressive, The Cheetahs haven't really shown you much regards to the passing game. You've got them pinned back on their own 1-yard line. You've got to come after them here.
And we can see that they've gone aggressive. They've gone 1 high safety this time instead of 2, bringing more players down to the line of scrimmage. Cheetahs send a man in motion pre-snap. He's followed, so they can see they've got man coverage. They fake the handoff. They look for the ball on the outside, and not quite able to get there. Running a route combination, putting 2 receivers in the same spot, kind of brought in 2 DBs into that same spot. I can hear the steam coming out of your ears. Offensive design, not necessarily the strongest part of today's performance from either side so far.
And again, it's just another situation where we've seen multiple receivers in the same area, and whether that's guys running the wrong route or something to do with the design, it's just not something we should be seeing at this level from these offenses, but it just seems to keep happening, and it makes life easier for the defense.
And now they've moved under centre here as they probably looking to try and just punch the ball out of their own goal line, and they only managed to get the ball back to the line of scrimmage as they're now looking at 3rd and 10 from their own 1. And this has to be kind of like worst case scenario for their offense. I mean, first play, they managed to get that man-to-man look they wanted, tried to take a shot on the outside, but kind of through their own doing weren't able to get the opportunity they wanted. And then 2nd down, may as well have held up a big cardboard sign to the other sideline and said, we're going to run the ball now. And they knew it was coming, not quite able to get the safety. But they were able to put them in a very difficult spot.
Yeah, and again, if we go back to, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot here, but we'll go back to this putting your quarterback under centre and then immediately running the ball off the back of it. You knew it was coming, I knew it was coming, the Blitz defense sure knew it was coming, and it's just, it just feels a little bit lazy at the moment with it, but You know, they managed to get out of their end zone, but we need to see more out of the Cheetahs offense here to try and get them at least away from their own goal line if they have to punt here.
Do you know what? I will take this minute to say that I think there's a very old head way of thinking that under centre is better for running the ball. But there's a couple elements that I think are under considered. One of them being the running back's vision and being able to get the ball in his hands that quickly. He's able to see what's developing up front and kind of almost help his offensive line if they're not able to make that play. And the other is just that for a quarterback, it's very difficult to get that timing right, to be able to turn from under centre and actually get the ball in that running back's hands as swiftly as needs to be to get that head start, to be able to get that vision. It's something that I think is probably fading away because we don't practice it enough over here, but it does feel like there are some flaws that aren't always considered.
I mean, there's definitely some positives from running the ball under centre, but when you only do it on specific plays, it becomes very telegraphed what you're
And so
going to
now
do.
they come out in a very heavy look to the right, under centre, hand the ball off. This time able to get some yards, only about 5. This time you see that they brought a fullback in this time. They've got that heavy look on the wing, so they're able to kind of get more bodies in. They actually managed to find some space that time.
Yeah, and obviously bringing in that extra weight and for that run is fine. You know, you're obviously telegraphing what you're doing, but you're matching that with a bit of extra weight behind the ball carriers. So you know, it's that kind of getting the balance right on it. You know, but they've managed to get themselves away from under the shadow of their own goalpost, but this is still dangerous punt territory here, both for safety and for giving the returner a chance.
Especially given the punting that we've seen so far in this game. I'm sure the Hertfordshire head coach will be kind of like looking away as this one goes off, as he manages to punt the ball away. Not a great punt as it bounces, but he is tackled, not quite, he breaks that tackle, and he's still finding some lanes, and he manages to make his way all the way down to the 27. Very impressive return, given that he looked like he should have been wrapped up by a couple of guys as soon as he picked that ball up, and give the Cheetahs something to try and aim for, either with a drive to end the half or when they come back out in the second, as they come out with their trips look, with their number 6 slot receiver sort of moved into a tight end spot, and they will fake the handoff to number 28, looking for number 84 down the field, and number 5 makes the play, intercepting it, looking for a lane to go and run down the field, and once again just not able to connect down the field. We saw on the previous attempt where they ran that concept, number 5 had his hands around his waist like he was trying to take him to a dance, and the referee flagged him for it. This time able to telegraph it, undercuts, and now the Hertfordshire offense is back on the field.
Yeah, it comes down to sort of the simplicity of it. Again, you know, we've seen that play before, right, and it resulted in a flag, and they went back to it again, but the defence were ready for it this time. And I think when you're playing against defences that are playing this well, you can't afford to be this predictable, and it's yet another Blitz turnover. It's that 4 in the first half, and you know, the fact that they're only one point down with 4 turnovers is probably a pleasing point in that respect, because if this Cheetahs offense could get going, then this game could be a long way away by this point.
Well, whether the Cheetahs offense gets going or not is yet to be determined, and they don't seem like they're necessarily in a hurry to get that offense going. It looks like they probably just trying to get to the second half with the lead still in their favour, as they run the ball there for a solid 5 yards on 2nd and 5. Still about 89 yards to go to get to the end zone, with not much time left, not many timeouts, as they stay in that under centre look. I think just trying to make sure they can get first down and get to half-time and talk things out. There's a big tackle comes in from number 47 there, moving them back a few yards. No timeout called from either side, so I do think we will be not particularly excitingly just wilting into the half-time break, it seems.
There is some sort of stoppage going on here. All right.
And we have a timeout called by the Blitz, who will be looking to try and get the ball back.
I mean, I'm surprised to see they didn't call that timeout quicker, because, you know, with how the Cheetahs have been punting as well, you know, you get a quick stop here, call another timeout, you get one chuck into the end zone or a chance at a punt return. So I'm surprised they waited so long to get that timeout called in.
I think they've only got 2. I think they might only have one left now, because obviously they had to burn one to after the player lost his helmet to keep him eligible in the game. So might have been a case of see how that first play unfolds and then call the timeouts on later plays if needed. But clock management has been an interesting affair today across the board, as they now come out back in the gun with a tight end out there, as they look to drop back, looking to pass the ball out to their receiver on the sideline, number 84, sort of breaking on a slant, 1v1, but number 4 was able to break up the play, and the punt unit coming back out again. I think we all collectively put our hands on our face. All we've seen so far is 3 and outs and turnovers.
Yeah, but again, we talk about clock management in there. You know, as you said, the Blitz have only got 1 timeout left. Run them for the Cheetahs.
Maybe they should look to get the ball in his hands on other players if he's that quick. So he's the fastest I've seen any of the Cheetahs players move so far with the ball in their hands. As they're now setting up, once again, their sort of trips tight end look, this time to the left-hand side. Quarterback's dropping back, skirts, looking out to the left, looks for number 14 on the corner, hits the ball in his hands, and he is tackled out of bounds at a 46-yard line. There's number 21 maybe doing a jersey exchange with him a little bit too early in the game. And now suddenly the game's a little bit interesting. We might be able to put some points on the board before the end of the half.
Yeah, and they ran that little hitch corner. I think they've tried it a couple of times with not much success, but the spacing was far better this time. And the quarterback's dropped a beautiful ball right into the sideline where only his guy can get it, and he gets out of bounds, and that stops the clock.
Those too high looks, they're always pretty vulnerable to those corners and things like that. It's challenging to defend them from this position. As now they're coming out once again with trips and a tight end to the right. Quarterback looking across the field, looking at the coverage that he's looking to get on this play. As the Blitz brings some pressure, a couple men barreling through. Number 14 catches the ball over the middle. Couple defenders bring him down, but not after he gets the first down. Quarterback getting him all to the line. Looks like he's trying to spike the ball quickly. Blitz players looking for a flag, but I don't think you're going to get a flag from them for interfering with a team trying to hurry up the play. You've just got to be a little bit faster there, and if you're gonna mess around with it, you've got to do a better job of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're actually putting yourself at risk of getting a delay of game on your own part for staying in the way of the ball like that. Possibly a little bit of trying to buy a flag there. I'll phrase it as delicately as that, but yeah, I don't think he's going to get any decision there.
No, nobody's going to throw flags in favour of slowing the game down. Come on, we had a 2 hour and 15-minute game earlier, and it was absolutely beautiful. Nobody wants a long, dragged-out 3-hour game because somebody's faffing around with the ball before it snaps. As we get a trips bunch look here on 2nd and 10 after the QB spike, and the ball's looked downfield to number 12, and he gets it all the way down to the 3-yard line. Cornerback seemed to not quite be aware of where the wide receiver was, or where the ball was in relation to him and the receiver. Looked like he could have made a play, but just seemed to let it go.
Yeah, he just kind of lost the ball in the air there. I mean, brilliant play by the quarterback. He's immediately under pressure, but that's the end of the half.
And so after a big play that we would have thought that we might have had one play to go into the half, that is the end of the half. And so what has been quite a sloppy game through most of it, a little bit of execution on offense on both sides to end the half, but it will end 7-6. So we'll have a little bit of a break over half time where you will be coming back to a game that's very tight, only 1 point between them. Give me a point from both teams on either half. What are you looking for from the Cheetahs or the Blitz to try and win this game after the break?
I mean, it sounds obvious, but from the Blitz standpoint, just keep a hold of the ball. The turnovers have been absolutely brutal for them. Far too many. You don't win football games turning the ball over 4 times, especially in a half. And then from the Cheetahs standpoint, yeah, maybe that's what they have to do on offense. Maybe they have to try just air it out a little bit more, work on that space in between the receivers, and really try and stretch the Blitz defense out and just get a few more of those first downs and momentum going, because that was a brilliant drive at the end of that half there that unfortunately just ran out of time.
Well, do what you need to do. Go refill your beverage, go grab yourself some food, be ready to come back in about 15 minutes where we've got an exciting second half, I'm sure, between these 1 and 2 Premiership teams trying to set the tone and get themselves to 500 mark. And we are back for the second half of the London Blitz Hertfordshire Cheetahs game. Hertfordshire leading 7-6. Reminder that both of these teams are currently 1 and 2 in the Southern Premiership, so lots to play for here. Both of these teams wanting to get to 500, 1 and 3 being quite an odd record to have, not really one that you want to have. Let's see how this unfolds. There's a not great kick. Is fielded there by number 14 as he looks to find a lane to the sideline, not quite able to find anything there as he is tackled down at what looks to be about the 34-yard line. So Chris, what are you looking for from this Hertfordshire offence? They come back out to start the second half.
I think if you're Hertfordshire, you need to come out into the second half how you ended the first. You know, it was the first real sign of life we've seen from you, really trying to attack this Blitz defence downfield. So I'd like to see them come out and really open it up a little bit, not be as so conservative, and yeah, maybe try and get a few balls through the air as well.
Well, let's see what they can do here as they come out with their trips tight end look into the boundary on the right side of the field. Lots of space for that backside receiver to work in. As the quarterback takes a snap, drops back, looks for that backside receiver, not able to get it near him. Linebacker was close to making a play, but not quite able to. You might have heard a little bit of a raspberry of sorts. Chris, not impressed by that opening attempt.
It looked, I mean, it might just be the angle we're at, but it looked dangerously close to the linebacker being able to get underneath that. And at that range, if he gets underneath that, that's going the distance the other way. So quarterback lucky to get away with that one.
You almost can't blame them for coming out with a pass though, as their running offense hasn't really done a lot to start with. Coming out with a very tight spread formation here, putting the ball in the hands of their running back number 32, and immediately the defensive line in the backfield, or maybe the linebacker there, number 5, coming in to make that play. Blitz defense coming out and setting the tone over the first couple of plays.
Yeah, and the Blitz defense were they were very good in the first half, and they look fired up for the second half as well. So looks like they're ready to play more of the same.
And so we'll see what they can do on third down as their running back number 32 here, struggling to make his way to the sideline, looks to be injured. He seems to be the guy that they've been giving the ball to a lot. They haven't really rotated their running back, so they haven't really been able to get a lot going with their rushing offense, and it might be even harder for them to start getting that going now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going into what's a fairly predictable pass situation here, usually third and long, so expect to see some pressure from the Blitz.
And they come out once again with their tight spread formation. As they drop back, they little flip past number 14, who manages to find a lane on the sideline, and he is rushing through, and he gets over halfway. There's a flag down there. It'll be interesting to see what the flag is for. Looked like maybe a slight little grab of the face cage on the way down, but quite difficult to see from this angle what the penalty might be for.
Yeah, and a bit of creativity again, I guess, from the offense to get that first down. It's a good run as well. And he seems to be the kind of runner, you get him into open field and he accelerates quite quickly, explodes. So as you say, correct, it was a face mask penalty, which will add another 15 onto that.
Yeah, so even though their offense hasn't looked too electric to come out, they have managed to get a lot of yards early, and they will find themselves in good field position with an opportunity to go and find the end zone and potentially stretch this out to a 2-score lead. So they will have the ball on the 32-yard line. They've come out with a spread look. Somebody sort of look like slot receiver come in quite close to the line of scrimmage there on the right-hand side. Quarterback drops back, looking to pass, looking to his left, looking for number 12 over the and he is unable to bring it down. Great play by the cornerback number 24 to break it up. There's a flag down, looks to be in the backfield, but once again we're seeing that even though these teams are playing with those safeties high, they're not able to stop those plays over the middle.
Yeah, and it's another unfortunate missed opportunity from the Cheetahs offense, and now they're going to be going back 15 the other way. So they keep getting these guys open. They're downfield. Just need to execute and get these completions and get the guys in the end zone. So
we will be doing 1st and 25. Just need to find a way to get some yards and put themselves into 3rd and manageable eventually here as they come out with their trips look with a tight end to the right-hand side. Referees just making sure that everything is all in order. And we will be back off and running again as they send their receiver number 14 in motion to balance out 2 receivers on each side. Quarterback drops back, looking out to his right-hand side, finds number 84, and it is in and out of the hands of the cornerback, number 2, breaking on the ball there. A couple of times we've seen him look for that slant, and both times look to be a risky proposition.
Yeah, and similar to what we've seen in the first half as well. You know, they went back to a play that they're familiar with and went after the same route, and this time the defence were ready for it, and what should have been an interception as well.
Well, it's been an interesting drive so far. They've managed to get quite a lot of free yards. They managed to move the ball down the field over into their half, but now a long way to go to get to the sticks, in danger of this drive stalling out as they come out in spread. Linebacker showing pressure does come through. QB has to scramble away from that pressure, manages to throw the ball out and avoid an intentional grounding penalty.
Ooh. And I think we're away to see an ejection here. A headbutt.
And we will see what the referees call. You'll remember from the first half that things did get a little bit chippy. Both teams sort of fighting at the bottom of the Prem South, trying to sort of get their footing. No love lost between the sides. It's the first meeting between these sides, but they're playing as though they've been long-time rivals in the trenches. And let's see what this referee calls here. And so it will be a 15-yard penalty. No ejection seems to have been called.
Slightly surprised on that one, to be honest. No, he certainly put his head in and made contact, but you know, he's got away with an unsportsmanlike. But it's third and a lot.
Third and a hell of a long way. Third and a bus ride, as an old ref used to say to me. As we look at, I don't even know if the other team can see the first down marker from this point. And dropping back, looks to hand it off, set up a screen, and number 14 is able to try and make some yards, but not able to get much. You might have seen that ball come out a bit weird. For those of you watching on the stream, if it's not very clear to you, the conditions have changed very drastically. It was a moderately pleasant day, I would have said before, but now it is really windy today. The wind is really swirling around as well, not a consistent direction, and I think it's going to make the rest of this game quite unpredictable in terms of the passing offense and the special teams for both sides.
Yeah, and certainly exactly what these offenses need is a heavy wind to really sort of mess up the throwing patterns here today. We also seem to have some fairly dark clouds threatening us as well, so maybe a bit of rain just to really help them out.
Well, if there's anything this game anything to make this game even more unpredictable, let's see how it all unfolds. As ball's kitted out to about the 25, not bad given what we were expecting and given the conditions that turned around. And so this blitz offense coming out now, probably looking to make a bit of a statement here. They need to move the ball. They still need a point to tie up the game. So a field goal or a touchdown will take the lead, but currently they are still behind. And that point might really hang over them if both sides are going to be, to not put it too delicately, constipated on offense.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, they did move the ball at times. It was just the turnovers were really what killed them in that first half. So, you know, just getting some simple execution down.
And so the blitz team will get the ball here. Read option as number 12. The quarterback works his way out to the sideline, tackled quite violently to the ground, with the linebackers just letting them know, hey, don't take off and run too much because we're not going to hit you very nicely over here.
Yeah.
But they managed to get 5 yards.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, every time the quarterback carries the ball, you want to make him pay for it, so he doesn't want to do it again. But you know, some good yards, a good first down gain, and they'll be happy with that.
And so they come out in trips to the right here, 2nd and 5. Whole playbooks open up here really, so let's see what they can do with it as they fake the handoff to the running back, find a number 86 on a little hitch over the middle, and he is down, but not before he can get a first down, as he gets down to the 36-yard line. Nice couple of plays just to open things up. They seem to be a little bit more confident than when they came out to start the first half, and definitely on some of those drives during.
Yeah, and I think that's about coming out and getting those plays that you're confident in, things that are simple, you can execute, and you know you're going to deliver. Really, just get that momentum behind you and get you feeling good to start the half.
And so the quarterback drops back here, looking down to the right, tries to find number 86, couldn't find anything. Lots of pressure coming in there as we got a player for the Hertfordshire Cheetahs down on the field. Both teams surprisingly coming out looking to throw the ball a lot, especially surprising given the conditions, but maybe they must have seen something earlier on in that first half that suggested that there were spaces downfield for them to exploit.
Yeah, and I think maybe they're trying to, really kickstart their offenses. Both of them really. The Blitz really struggled with the run game in the first half, and so similarly, so did the Cheetahs. Maybe just trying to really breathe some life into what they're doing, but there was a lot of pressure in the quarterback's face there as he tried to get rid of that ball, and it was incomplete, but it was also tipped as well. It could have been a lot worse.
Do you think that it might be that there was anything that they're trying to exploit, or do you think that both teams kind of like, this run game really isn't working, let's see if there's other ways we can try and get the ball down the field?
I think there's an element of both in that. They may be seen that there is those opportunities, especially for those short passes, those hitches that we've seen in the first half as well, but you want to be able to establish the run, but you also need to move the chains too. So if the pass game's getting you some yards, you go back to it.
And they do go back to the pass game here, looking for number 14 here. Lots of hand fighting on the route, but no flag has been thrown. There have been a couple of DPIs thrown, not just in this game, but in the game previously. But they do seem to be letting the receivers and the DBs sort of fight for space a little bit more as obviously the last game is finished and as this game's sort of growing into it.
Yeah, and I think in there was probably more of a little bit of incidental contact there rather than sort of trying to prevent the player from getting to the ball, and the ball was fairly well overthrown as well, so I think they probably just want to let those kind of ones go.
Yeah, you never want them to be the ones bringing the game into their hands. As we get 3rd and 10, quarterback rolling out to the right, looking to make a play, unable to get the yards that he needs to get a first down. Good pressure there, forcing him to escape the pocket as we're looking at around 3rd and 5, I think. Seems to be some discussion on both sides.
I think I heard number 6's voice go up an octave from up here.
Yeah, I think they might have wanted maybe a hit out of bounds, but I don't really think there was even a hit, let alone out of bounds. And I think a rather unkind spot, I would say, potentially, down only 2 yards there gained. So looking at 4th and 8, they will be coming out to punt, and you wonder if they might have to take a timeout or if they're going to get a delay of game, because there's been quite a lot of time between that ball being spotted and them getting their special teams unit out on the field.
Someone might correct me here, but I did see the official raising his hand in the air and pushing up the way. I believe he was gesturing to reset the play clock, so they might get away with it here.
Yeah, it does seem like they're making sure everything's in place before the game clock gets running. So number 6 will get ready to punt the ball away. Good snap, and he's escaping out to the left on a fake. Number 22 trying to chase down the angle and does just about make a shoestring tackle, but not before he's able to get ahead of the sticks and convert the first down there. We have a Hertfordshire Cheetah player down injured in the backfield. Impressive play for him to make that, get out to the edge and get the first down. I do wonder if he might have called "I'm doing this" audible, because he was the one who seemed very much like we want to go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's those kind of plays you need in this situation where you can't really get the offenses going, just to add that bit of spark. And I mean, he converted it quite comfortably there.
Well, it's definitely been an interesting drive to start off with. Not necessarily been able to make the plays through the air or on the ground, but that big special teams play hopefully for them will give them the boost that their offense needs. This Hertfordshire Cheetahs defence come out where they left off in that first half. D-line seems to be handling business up front, linebackers flowing sideline to sideline, DB's doing a good job over the top in coverage. What's really making it tick?
I think just the consistency across the board. Like, they don't seem to have that sort of weak area. You know, sometimes you see teams that have got that really strong defensive line and they're really strong linebackers, but their secondary really lets them down, or you know, maybe they've got a really strong secondary, but they're a bit soft in the middle. I think what you're seeing from them is just that consistent strength across the board. You know, they're maybe not, you know, exceptional in any area, but they're good in all three, and I think that's really why you're seeing it's been a challenge for the Blitz to break it down.
And the flexibility as well. They've been moving some pieces around, sort of maybe going with some lighter boxes, some heavier boxes at points. Not something we see from a lot of teams being able to make those adjustments on the fly. So good credit to them as Blitz get ready for second down. Fake the handoff, looks for number 17 over the middle. He's able to. It looked like he made the catch, but the ball has been judged to have hit the floor as he was juggling it. Not quite Jermaine Kerr style there. As it now brings up 3rd and 10. It feels like these teams just burn through first and second timeouts, like first and second downs, like they're nothing. You may as well just skip to 3rd and long at this point.
I think it's quite interesting. I know we don't want to keep speaking about the earlier game and people weren't watching it, but we've seen so few drives due to the time. And then in this game, it just seems there's been many.
And so now we're looking at 3rd down here. Quarterback drops back, 71 gets through immediately, and he's unable to connect with his receiver again there. Neither team is able to quite get the consistency. I think we've done, we've sort of maybe put the blame for this on the offense quite a lot, but I think the more and more this keeps coming up, the more we maybe have to start crediting both defensive sides of the ball for just being really well drilled and executing.
Absolutely, and I think there, you know, to give some credit to the quarterback side there, I do believe he was just throwing that one away because 22 was from Hertfordshire was ready to take that one the distance, and they've just, the defenses have been switched on the whole game. They've not made the mental mistakes, and yeah, they're making life miserable for these offenses.
And for those of you on #WeatherWatch, I can feel a couple of raindrops coming in ready to spoil the party as number 6 is trying to find some space to kick. He does. Referee takes a look at it but decides not to throw a flag as number 14 is breaking out in space. Barely anybody ahead of him. Somebody just about manages to catch up with him and make the tackle. And so he manages to return the ball to about the 45-yard line. Big return there to spark them. And you saw number 6 checking in with the referee, and the referee sort of let him know that, well, there was very marginal contact.
I mean, you know, he obviously felt like there was some contact on him, but I don't think it was enough.
In a game like this, you have to manufacture your own luck, right?
Yeah, for sure.
As they come out here in that deuce formation again with that tight end to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Hand off this time to number 32, and he runs straight into the teeth of the defense and is tackled a couple of yards downfield. So looking at about 2nd and 7. Nice to see a team get into 2nd and on schedule for once.
Yeah, and it's probably the first time we've really seen the Cheetahs go up the interior and actually sort of make those early down yards. You know, now we want to see what they can do off the back of that and really try and keep themselves ahead of the chains.
So they come out this time with their deuce formation again, this time with the tight end to the left, running back to the QB's right. Drops back, takes the snap, looking to the right-hand side, finds London Blitz player, number 21, makes the pick. Looks like it got deflected, attempted to be caught by the wide receiver through his hands and ends up in the hands of the safety there.
Yeah, and this time it's the Cheetahs' turn to turn the ball over. And, you know, again, you know, what you said earlier, perhaps we're right. The defences are just playing exceptional football just now, and again, getting the hands on it and making those plays when it matters, and it's another momentum swing, and this time it's back to the Blitz, and we need to see their offense deliver. The defenses have been running themselves into the ground. we need to see an offense step up and deliver for them.
So if you're a fan of defensive football, this is a hell of a game for you. If you're a fan of good offense, the recording of the live stream for the last game is still available, so feel free to go back and watch some of that. But hopefully we'll get some exciting offensive plays in the rest of this game, especially if it's going to stay a 1-point game where both teams need to execute. As they hand off to number 34 on an outside run, and once again he is met behind the line of scrimmage. Neither team is really able to figure out this run game, and if you're not going to be able to get offensive linemen out ahead to block on the outside, you're making life really tough if you're trying to make a living running outside.
And again, we talked about the speed of this Cheetahs defense whenever the Blitz have tried to run to the edge, and it's just not worked for them. And again, it's just another example they've gone back to it in the Cheetahs.
As they're now coming up for 2nd and 10 here inside their own territory. Quarterback dropping back, pressure up, coming up the middle, and the ball is overthrown. Look to be trying to target number 8 over the middle, but with a combination of the tight coverage over the top and the defensive lineman getting through to try and sack him, he was not able to connect.
Yeah, it almost looked like a bit of a miscommunication, but I think number 8 maybe just, I don't want to say stop running, but I think maybe there was a bit of a mix-up on what he was supposed to be doing there, because the quarterback's definitely throwing that ball deep downfield.
Yeah, and he's managing to get through quite a few times. Is number 71. That's Andy Dickens making some plays down there for the Hertfordshire defensive line. As once again we are at 3rd and 10 as the quarterback gets ready to drop back. Trips to the left, looking over the middle of the field, and he tries to escape the pressure as nobody was open, looking for some blockers ahead, manages to scramble out, and he is tackled down by number 4 for the Hertfordshire Cheetahs there. That is Jack Downs making that tackle, and once again, not quite able to find the receivers, but this time maybe able to make something really nice.
Yeah, and I think the big difference there was sort of the rush discipline from the Cheetahs. The quarterback stepped up beautifully straight through into the pocket, and all of a sudden there was a massive space for him to get out to, and he made the correct decision to just get on his bike and get the first down himself.
I think a lot of the time we talk about edge pressure whenever you talk about trying to get to the quarterback, but that interior pressure is really what makes a difference. Forcing that QB to flush out to the sides, it's a lot easier to stop that than when they're stepping up into the pocket. As once again they come out with a trips look, dropping back to pass, interior pressure this time, and gets to the quarterback before he can get the ball off cleanly. And there we go, we see it, the difference. Interior pressure versus exterior pressure completely changes how a play can develop.
Yeah, absolutely. It forced him to sort of stay in there, and we talked about that battle earlier on with the left tackle in 63, and 63 gets the better of him that time, and he's able to disrupt the pass.
They've got a really nice. They've got some really nice rushes on that defensive line. We've seen number 71 and number 63 both getting in the backfield in the run and the pass game to cause some havoc. As now they're looking at 2nd and 10 with trips to the right, tries a fake snap to get the defense to jump. Checks their OC as he calls in the signal for the right play. As drops back to pass, looks out to the short area of the field as he finds number 8 on the right side, about 8 yards downfield. So looking at 3rd and 2 now, a very different situation to where they've been in third and longs for most of the game. 3rd and 2 should be a lot more manageable for them, I assume.
Yeah, and the offensive line held up a bit better there, gave him a bit more time, and he was able to find that soft spot in the zone and put them back on schedule. It's now 3rd and 1. They've given themselves a short yardage situation to get the first.
Should be easy as long as they don't try and run the ball. As they put trips into the boundary, leaving lots of space for that isolated receiver on the backside. They do hand it off, and Tom Stradamus was correct, as rushing the ball did end up losing them about a yard, as they're now looking at 4th and 2.
Yeah, and again, it's straight into the teeth of that Cheetahs defense that's been so good all day, and it really is playing into their strength at that point. I get, you're in that short yardage situation, but I don't know how deep their playbook goes, but maybe if you want to run that sort of thing, just go under centre and run a sneak, if anything, like the old brotherly shove or whatever, the Eagles run.
And so they will go for it on 4th down. They came out in the trips look. It looks like a timeout potentially has been called.
I think it's an official's timeout. Oh no.
And it's a timeout for the Cheetahs there, just wanting to make sure that they've got everything on point going in to this I would call it quite a big fourth down if they're able to get the ball back just outside of London Blitz territory. And worth remembering, Blitz are only down a point, so they could change the game very quickly, but this whole time that neither team is able to put some points on the board, you do feel like the game is starting to get away from the Blitz.
Yeah, and as you say, the longer it goes on, the more frustrated they get, and that's when penalties and mistakes start to slip in. And it's going to come down to how long this Cheetahs defence can continue to hold out. And it's a huge fourth down for them as well. Wonder whether maybe the Cheetahs are employing the same tactic on the 2-point to try and just see what the Blitz were going to do. And wonder if maybe the Blitz just try and get the Cheetahs to jump offside and maybe call a timeout of their own.
Well, let's see how the Blitz try and attack this here as they go trips to the left-hand side. Number 16 in the backfield. Takes the snap, looks downfield, looks to get a lot of yards quickly, and the pass is incomplete. The referee did not feel like there was a flag there. I tend to agree with that. It seemed like both receivers were fighting equally for the ball, and he just outmuscled him at the catch point.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in that for a flag, and to be honest, I wouldn't want to see one thrown there.
Well, interesting here as Hertfordshire's offence comes back out. I think goal for the Hertfordshire offence, just get a first down, burn some clock, move the ball a little bit better than they have so far.
Yeah, I feel like we're maybe repeating ourselves a little bit out here now at this point with these offences. The Cheetahs are winning by that point at the moment. They need to just try and give their defence a break, leave them on the sideline for a bit of time, and preferably put up some points.
So they come out here with a trips look with a tight end to the right, hand off to the running back. He's able to get up the field, only finds about 3 yards, but you do that a couple of times, you get to 4th and 1.
And that's it, they're keeping ahead of schedule, and that's what they need to do rather than these sort of no gains on the first play or tackles for losses. So it's a very positive run from the Cheetahs on first down there.
Especially the way they're doing it as well. Actually, this time they're able to go into the teeth of the defence. Offensive line was able to get a push. Good positive signs to them early as they come back out, this time in their juice formation. Blitz defence rotating down into more of a 1-high look this time rather than their 2-high shell, but the safety does drop off. Hand off again up the middle, this time not able to get as many yards, and they are set up for 3rd and 6.
Yeah, a bit of a delayed handoff there, which again really sort of plays into where the Blitz want to be.
And so this is what do you think here? Would you maybe try and run the ball but in a different way to what they've been doing? Maybe one of those jet sweeps, those quick runs they hit rather than the pass? It seems like their pass game's been a bit inconsistent here.
I think if you're going to run it, you do need to try and be a bit more creative and use one of those situations. But I think you have to maybe pass here.
Well, they drop back here. They do look to pass. They throw the ball over the middle to number 15, who is open over the middle of the field and able to get a first down, just about as close to being in London Blitz territory while being in their own half. The nose of the football is literally on the white line of the halfway line, and that is, it seems like not a very big play, but that is a massive play for this offense.
It's a huge play for this offense. It's another variation of that sort of fake screen play we've seen them run where they had the shot downfield, but this time obviously going more into the center of the field and just getting beyond the sticks. And maybe that's what they need to do. They just need to keep going back to similar situations to try and just get those easy yards. And
so they come back out again here in that juice look, and pressure coming up the middle, picked up by the running back, ball thrown out to the side, and it is caught by number 14. A great play to bring that ball in, or maybe number 84. We'll see when he gets
Incredible
up.
hands.
Number 12, my apologies. That is Nicholas Ford, who's made a few plays in this game. Really strong hands there.
Incredible hand strength. The defender was immediately on him and trying to get that ball out. Did really well to hold on to that and even get a couple of extra yards or 1 yard out of it.
And I know that a lot of people are massive fans of running the ball on first down. I think if you've got the quarterback that can make those throws, it is very positive to throw the ball on first down. If you throw it before you need to, often that's when you get some of those better defensive looks to be able to make those plays. As quarterback faking the handoff and looks to throw the bubble screen out here, gets the ball in the hands of his receiver, but he is stopped short of the first down. looks to have maybe only gained a yard on that play, and that will bring up 3rd and short inside the London Blitz half, down about, I want to say, the 43-yard line. Move back to the 44, so it'll be 3rd and 3. Another big play. It feels like every 3rd down in this game is huge, given the score, given both teams' offences and defences, obviously. It's understated. I think maybe people that aren't maybe newer to this game or don't watch this game as often, these might just not seem too important, but these are massive, massive plays every time. And the quarterback's dropping back here, looks to fake that bubble screen, but finds number 12 outside, and he got the ball. He was close enough to be able to make a play, but not quite able to turn and make the adjustment to bring it in. And that brings up 4th and 3, and a big decision.
Yeah, and I think if you knew you were going to go for this on 4th down, I'd have ran the ball on 3rd down and tried to get it that way, get a bit closer, or maybe even go to one of those pop passes. But yeah, I mean, they've tried to go back to that fake screen wheel route again, and it's there, it's open, it's just not connecting between the quarterback and the receiver.
And so it looks like we're ending the 3rd quarter once the referees have sort of all got their ducks in a row. So we'll be flipping sides of the field, so the Cheetahs will be driving from left to right now. And I'm sure that this extra bit of time to make a decision doesn't hurt at all. Do you think they should be going for it here?
I think there comes a point when you have to be brave, but there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity as well. But they're the team in the lead, their defense is playing well. I think you just pin the blitz back and let your defense do the work that they've done so well today already. And by the looks of it, they've actually decided to do that.
Yeah, and I think maybe on that 3rd down, I think I probably would have been thinking I wouldn't want to go for it unless I get to maybe 4th and 1. I do like the idea of maybe throwing for it, especially if you think you can get it from 4th and 3, but they have decided to punt here. Opportunity to pin the blitz back, but equally the blitz could get some good field position. Great long snap there, not often we see that, but it was a beautiful snap. It's being fielded by number 8 for the blitz, but it's fumbled on the ground, but not. And he is down at, I want to say, around the 6-yard line. Looked like he maybe had space to go and take off, but great job by the coverage unit managing to get down and make a play straight away. And I guess that's why you do punt in those situations, because it's very easy for somebody to make a mistake, and now they've got good field position to be aggressive. And even if the Blitz are able to make some yards, they've still got a lot of yards to go to try and get pay dirt.
Yeah, and especially since what we've seen from the Blitz is a lot of the short yardage plays, trying to maintain a drive. Now if they want to do that, they've got a lot of plays to go. I think it was the right decision to punt there. And as you rightly pointed out, it was a fantastic long snap as well, which is uncommon in Britball.
No, get that on his highlight reel. That was a zipper. As we are now coming out with 1st down on the 7-yard line of the London Blitz. Put an extra back in the backfield, number 6, potentially sort of to lead block for him or create some havoc. As number 86 catches the ball on the fly sweep, and number 22 comes down to immediately make that play. And now they are just ahead of their own goal line. I quite like the look of that sweep as it started to develop, but as soon as he ran backwards and that cornerback, heads up play by that safety, number 22, to come down and make that play so quickly, and now they're in a very difficult spot.
Yeah, and again, we talk about challenging the outside of this Hertfordshire defence, and especially backed up. They've given them a chance to use their speed and get there. Admire the hustle from, I believe it was 54, to try and drag the Blitz player into the end zone to claim a safety. But no, he definitely got out of the end zone.
And that was the safety, Tom Goodchild, with the tackle there. And once again, another stop right on the 1-yard line. Not quite in safety range, but they are able to stop the Blitz from taking the ball off their goal line. So now it is 3rd down. It looks to be only a yard or so ahead of their end zone. They've gone with a run that went backwards, a run that got stuffed up the middle. You've got to be really nervous as an OC here for the Blitz, right?
I mean, you've set your stall out, you've ran the ball twice. Do you now go and try and pass it after those 2 failed run attempts?
Well, let's see what they do here. The Cheetahs are showing a bit of pressure on the front. They drop back to pass, pressure in his face, and could not connect with him. Receiver did not have his head round ready for that ball. A quarterback kind of looked like he was getting it out, knowing that he just had to get it out there because he had 2 Cheetahs bearing down in his face. And now they are punting with their heels on the chalk of the end zone.
Yeah, and these are very dangerous situations. You know, we talk about the long snapper, and all of a sudden becomes the key element of this play for the Blitz in this occasion. You know, need to make sure you get this right. The punter doesn't have a lot of room to work with, and it gives the Cheetahs a great chance to really try and charge this down. And
so now we are ready to punt the ball away. Number 6 probably got less of a green flag to go for a scramble here, as he looks to punt the ball away. Lots of pressure around, but nobody quite able to get to the ball. And the ball hits a Cheetah, and one of them picks it up. Number 36 going to carry the ball away, and he is eventually tackled down at the 27-yard line. Helmet came off, and that is a massive bounce for the Cheetahs after it hits one of their players and becomes live, but one of them is able to recover it and stop the ball from being turned back over to the Blitz after they punted the ball away from their end zone.
And this is why coaches have grey hair at such a young age for moments like that. I mean, the Cheetahs player has no idea where the ball is, and very almost catastrophic for them there, but they managed to get back on top of it.
And so with that big break, the Cheetahs will now have the ball just outside of the Blitz red zone as they come out in their trips tight end look. Quarterback takes the snap, looks to set up the tunnel screen to number 12. Wasn't able to make the catch, but I think that saved him as his offensive line was nowhere to be found as those linebackers come over and stuff it all up.
Yeah, again, I see what they're trying to do with it, and it's something that's worked for them as well. But yeah, I think they're probably happier that he dropped it than if he'd made that catch.
So for the viewers that might be less familiar to football, tell me about the tunnel screen. What happens? How does it work?
So basically you're wanting to create a lane for an outside receiver to catch the ball at the line of scrimmage and then be able to get your offensive line out and make lead blocks for them. So rather than your offensive line blocking the defensive line, they're getting outfield and picking up linebackers and safeties and giving themselves a great...
And it is picked off by the number 4 for the London Blitz, as here the quarterback was not on the same page with number 84, his wide receiver, but there is a flag down. We will see what the flag is for.
It's a legal formation. Yeah.
And so the London Blitz will now have the ball back at their own 14-yard line, and this has been a messy game of football on either side, but it has kept this game tight. Neither team has really been able to even sniff the end zone since they scored.
I mean, I feel like we're bordering on calling this the Bakery Bowl territory because there's been turnovers everywhere. We're certainly getting into that sort of region at the moment. Was that 6 turnovers so far?
It does have a uni ball feel to it, doesn't it? But we'll see if either team can pick up and execute. Both defenses got to be feeling very happy, but you can feel the sense of frustration from both defenses towards their own offense at this point.
And that's dangerous as well, right?
And they come out this time in a spread look, unable to get all of their players on the same page to start off with, but they do have all 11 out there now in the right spot. Quarterback dropping back to pass. Lots of time, scrambles out to the right, looking for a man downfield. He's got a couple that are getting open in space, takes off himself, manages to get out of bounds, gets a first down. I'm surprised that both teams are being so pass heavy. It definitely feels as though it's much more beneficial to this Blitz team so far.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well, like maybe we need to see more of that from the quarterback. He's had a couple of really strong runs when he's been able to get outside the pocket, and maybe that's just what the Blitz need. Maybe they need to start running the ball with the quarterback a bit more on resort to these scramble drills.
Well, the quarterback's definitely shown something. He showed it once in the first half, but we didn't see this scrambling ability as much early on. But it's definitely given this Blitz team a much needed boost at quite critical points. So let's see if that continues to be a factor as we go through here in this fourth quarter, as they come out in a spread look and fake the handoff to the quarterback, hit the number 3 on a flat, but he is unable to bring the ball in. Seemed like he could potentially hear the footsteps of the Cheetahs defenders there, as what should have been an easy catch for about 3 yards ends up resulting in 2nd and 10.
And I'll tell you what, he's very, very lucky, because number 5 from the Cheetahs very almost snagged that. And again, we're talking about what would be the 2nd pick 6 of the day. Should have made the grab, and it almost really went bad.
And so they come out here with trips look to the left on their 2nd and 10 play, as they show pressure, but the Cheetahs don't bring any. Quarterback still scrambling around looking to make something happen, but he is sacked by number 63 for the Cheetahs, getting his way into the backfield, as that is Joel Adji making the play. He's been in the backfield a few times today. Maybe no play from him bigger than that one right there.
Yeah, it's a massive play, but again, it was caused by number 71 getting the interior penetration and forcing the quarterback to the outside. We talked about that one where, you know, he was able to step up and then scramble. On that occasion, 71 again in the backfield. Andy Wilkinson, did you say his name was, I believe? And again, it's created that opportunity for 63 to finish the play.
And so they're looking at 3rd and long again. Quarterback dropping back, trying to find somebody. Pressure in his face from number 71 again. Hits his running back number 27 out there, and he manages to get back to about the 26-yard line. So looking at 4th and 9 here. Number 71 bringing pressure and forcing that ball again. Andy Dickens making that play. It's all right, you're not going to forget that name again. Yeah. He's been making plays all day, as he's been a vital part to this Cheetahs unit that's been able to keep this London Blitz team to only 6 points so far. And 2 1 and 2 teams here really dogfighting it out to try and get to 500. And this fourth quarter is incredibly tight. Neither team can afford to make a mistake, but when both teams are making mistakes, it seems to work out okay for them. As number 6 looks to punt the ball away, has plenty of time to do so. Lots of backspin on that, and the ball will take a friendly bounce for the Cheetahs, as it doesn't even make its way into the Cheetahs' half. So they will take the ball at the 48-yard line. I want to say at some point this is going to get to the point where teams are going to have to start thinking about trying to run out the clock on their possessions. But neither team have really been able to show the ability to run the ball effectively enough to be comfortable doing that.
Absolutely, and I think that's it. I mean, from the Cheetah standpoint, they probably want to consider it, but don't really know the best way to do it. I was going to say on the back of that punt, number 6 has punted very well, but that almost looked like an end-over-end one where you're trying to stop it going out the back of the end zone, and it just got caught up in the wind. And it's positive field position for the Cheetahs again. Really need to make one of these opportunities count.
And they tried to do so here by coming out and handing the ball off to number 32 as he runs straight through the teeth of the defense and gets a first down. That is a play that we have not seen all day, and I wonder if this just comes down to fatigue at this point. They've just been chipping away, and now maybe they're going to be able to crack open this Blitz defense.
Yeah, for sure. And what you really want to see from the Cheetahs now is to slow this down. You know, they're quite quick getting back up to the line of scrimmage and running another play. You really want to see them start to slow the game down if they're getting these first downs, and just keep the clock turning over. And
so the quarterback is ready to take the snap here, hands it off again to number 32, and number 47 just came in off the edge, completely unblocked there. Looked like he was unblocked by design, but just had the speed to close down along the line of scrimmage and stop the rusher from being able to find a lane.
Yeah, great play. He almost seemed to time the snap count there, which meant there was no chance for anyone to get out there to him as well. So, you know, a really great play to kind of halt that momentum there.
And so they will be in a familiar position of 2nd and 11 or so, as they come out moving to their tight spread formation, running back to the quarterback's left. Number 5 bringing pressure for the blitz, and he's able to make the tackle as a couple guys come in to help him there. Timed the snap well and came down to the line of scrimmage, busted through as soon as the ball was snapped, and gets him into about 3rd and 11. once again, these third downs are crucial.
And I think what you're seeing from these defenses now is almost a complete disrespect on the opposition's offense. You know, they're not trying to play safe. They're coming after the quarterbacks. They're coming after the running backs, and they're just showing no respect to the opposition's offense at all.
Both teams' O-lines definitely seem to be struggling in the run game. They seem to be holding up okay in the pass game, but that run game seems to be a real challenge to them. As they hand the ball off to a little fly sweep to number 14, able to make some yards and takes the ball down to about the 31. So they're about 3 yards short of the line to gain. But fourth down is here, and less so in punting territory, I would think. So interesting to see what they will do to try and move the ball on 4th and 3.
I wonder if at this point they try and just catch the defence offside, and if not, maybe consider like a pooch punt or something. I think as much as this doesn't feel like punt territory, this Cheetahs defence has been that good. You want to just keep putting it on them and give them that long field to defend. And
so they come out with 3 receivers tight, and they do get the jump. It looks like there is the flag. They've managed to find a receiver over the middle. Number 12 manages to take them inside the red zone. It's a great play there by the Cheetahs. They managed to get them to jump, but then they managed to make the free play work anyway, and they will get more yards than they would have done from the offside. So massive play there, able to get themselves into the red zone, and now they can think about maybe burning some clock, as they might potentially have 3 points in the bag if they feel confident in their field goal kicker.
Yeah, and it's great situational football there. They knew that if they could draw the blitz off, they had a chance at the first down and then make the most of it anyway, and to then carry that on and convert themselves is a real confidence booster this late in the game as well. So, you know, really strong play from the Cheetahs there, and they'll be really happy about that.
And this is where a clock would come in big time, because I would love to know whether there are 8 minutes left, whether there's 4 minutes left. All sense of time seems to be distorted. It feels like we've been here at this ground forever watching this game, as it's just been a series of third downs and turnovers. But there have been some exciting moments, and I'm sure that there are many more left in store in what is still, unbelievably, only a 1-point game. Feels like it should be a 0-0 game at this point, but it is a 1-point game in favour of the Cheetahs, and all they have to do really is hold fort, and they could escape here. And I do literally mean escape here with a win.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on the positive side, you know, we haven't seen one of those classic Britball 2-0 games today, so that's always good news.
And so Chains are just getting themselves sorted, as we will be looking at 1st and 10 from what looks to be about the 16-yard line. A ball on the right hash. Hertfordshire coming out with trips to the left with their tight end on the left-hand side, and the Blitz in their familiar look with their safety rotated down, 1 safety high. Wouldn't be surprised to see that strong safety bail off and drop into coverage deep, as he has been often. Number 10, that is, that we're looking at. Quarterback takes snap, puts the ball in, fakes the handoff, throws it to number 84, and it looks like offensive PI is given there. Unsurprising, but also I think they've kind of let things like that go.
Yeah, but as soon as you see the offensive player extend his arms like that into the back, you're always expecting to get that flagged. Again, it's one of those, I don't actually think he needed to do it. I think the ball was falling into him anyway. But, you know, it's a let-off for the Blitz, but yeah, I think it's the right call.
Not against cheating on principle. If you get
It's roughing the passes, so they're
so the players wiped off the board. It never happened. We're going back to 1st and 10. And yeah, as I was saying, I'm not against cheating on principle. You just got to do it better. And so we will be redoing 1st and 10. Blitz defense trying to get their own sideline psyched up here in the red zone. They know how crucial this is. They cannot afford to let the Cheetahs defense go up, as they now go under centre here, likely going to run the ball, and they do hand the ball off to number 2, and once again the space is taken away. Chris, it's okay, I'll give you a big hug later and we can
Ball's
talk
come
about...
out there, I believe.
And the referees, I think, are trying to work out whether the player was down before the ball was ripped out.
If they've not signalled it, the chances are they didn't see when it came out.
And it will be 2nd and 10. And the reason why Chris had his head in his hands is because every time they move under centre and hand off the ball, all they do is invite more pressure.
I'm waiting to see them throw some sort of play action pass off the back of it, perhaps. But yeah. So far, every time they went under centre, they've ran it straight up the middle.
Well, let's see what they do on this play here, as the quarterback is going under centre. Chris, I bet you a fiver this is a handoff. And they come out with a wing look to the right, so I think they'll run it that way.
No.
And they are stuffed, unsurprisingly, as it now is 3rd and long. And I can understand trying to run the ball, but I think one thing that people always miss when they talk about just running the ball is that you do still have to do it in a way that is balanced, catches the defence off guard, and actually puts you in a positive position.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing there, especially when they switch to the under centre run, is it's a very simplistic, almost dive play up the middle, and the Blitz are just ready for it every time.
And so they're here on 3rd down. QB drops back, looks to his right, looks for a man in the end zone, is able to find one, and not quite able to get there, in and out. And once again, the route spacing coming up again with too many players in the same area. And it's not necessarily a problem that you have multiple offensive players in the same area, as much as it invites more defensive players into that space and brings uncertainty.
Yeah, and yeah, it's one of those things. I think the Cheetahs aren't really clear on whether they're kicking the field goal here, or was it 4th down?
It is 4th down.
It is now,
it's 4th
yeah,
and
but
10.
But they seem to be in disagreement of whether they were kicking it or not. And the second to last player on is number 71, so he's on the field goal unit as well.
As they hustle out to form the wall for the field goal. And this is a big field goal because a score here will make the score 10 to the Cheetahs and 6 to the Blitz, making it a touchdown game. Good snap, good hold, kick is up, and the kick is through. So it is a 10-6 game. Blitz need a touchdown to win, and their entire sideline is completely deflated right now.
And an absolutely crucial time for the Cheetahs offense to put up their first points of the day as well. Remember,
Special teams play.
well, yeah, but the offense drove them into field goal range, so we'll say it's the offensive point. But yeah, you know, it's a huge momentum moment for them as well. And as you said, the Blitz sideline just looked deflated to see that go through. But you know, they're still in that situation where, you know, we need to see them score. But yeah, it's a good moment for the Cheetahs.
And so the Cheetahs will be kicking the ball off to the London Blitz, number 13 and number 8 back to receive the kick. And this is probably the biggest drive of the game, would you say?
I mean, we must be getting close there. We don't actually know exactly how long's left, but I feel like we've been in the 4th quarter for quite some time now. So we must be getting fairly close to that 2-minute warning. So the Blitz really need to start getting a move on if they want to get
It's definitely been a long game as well. For reference, the last game was over in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. It has been 2.5 hours, and we are still in this 4th quarter. You can definitely feel a bit of fatigue wearing on both sides. Ball bobbling up, and he tried to recover it, but it made more sense to let the ball go out. And so they will have the ball at, I believe, the 40-yard line. Once the referees judge.
And that's a big error from the Cheetahs kicker there. Obviously gives the Blitz great field position.
And so the Blitz have better field position to try and mount a comeback. So they need a touchdown to be able to take the lead. A touchdown will give them 2-point lead. And then if they kick the PAT or a 2-point after, they could go up by 3 or 4. But if they go down the field and kick a field goal, they can make it a 1-point game, in which they would still need to find a score to then take the lead. Reminder that in regular season football we do not have any extra time, so if somehow this game ends up in a tie, both teams will just take a draw on their record. As the Blitz come out in spread trips to the left, quarterback looking for that quick hitch again to number 86, and he is down about 9 yards down the field. Nice little play to start off the drive, but equally I think the Cheetahs are kind of expecting maybe a pass-heavy look to be given a little bit more cushion in their back seven.
Yeah, but again, they've went to that play so often today, and it's been successful part of their game plan. So, you know, it's the start of a really important drive for them. So why not go back to a play that's been good for you so far?
Well, we'll see if they continue to chip away at those small plays like that as they come out in spread on this play. They were awarded a first down on that play as the quarterback drops back, looks to throw the ball on the edge, and that time looks like he was maybe ran his hitch a bit deeper than was expected, and is incomplete, so they'll be looking at 2nd and 10.
Again, the quarterback was saying how long's left, so about 55 yards. Yeah, so the number 71 once again getting into the backfield and causing the quarterback to underthrow there.
I like that you keep saying positive things about the defence. In my eye, I just like to slate the offence when they make mistakes. As they're in spread, quarterback dropping back and unable to connect. Seemed like they maybe ran a freeze play. Both lines didn't really seem like they really wanted to start the play. It seemed like the defensive line didn't want to jump, offensive line didn't want to jump, and so they both kind of just stood there. And but the quarterback was unable to connect with his receiver. Yeah,
and again, it's the pass just wasn't quite there. There was space in the defense for him to take advantage of, but just that execution side again's really let the Blitz down today.
And so they come out with trips right. Number 54 showing pressure, doesn't blitz. QB looks to a number 86, goes over his head, almost lands at the feet of number 6, but he is not able to bring it in. They definitely seem to have a sort of favourite route, that sort of hitch from the slot, but it's not a high percentage play because you have to execute it so consistently to be rewarded with the yards that you need. And now they put themselves at 4th and 10 again.
Yeah, and again, even in that situation, I mean, they were looking at maybe getting 5 yards out of it going to 86 in a 3rd and 10 situation. Okay, they're obviously in a 4th down scenario, but yeah, they just haven't executed well enough so far.
And so they're coming out with trips right on this crucial 4th down as the quarterback drops back. 63 immediately in the backfield, but doesn't quite get there. Number 6 over the top, and he is unable to make the play. Number 5 tips it to himself, picks it off, and returns it down to the 36-yard line. What a big play. Number 5 again, and that is Jack Downs. Have yourself a day. Massive play on that pick there.
I mean, tipping it up was one thing, and then to continue to intercept it himself, that is an unbelievable play by the Hertfordshire Cheetahs there. Unbelievable. It looked like we could be in trouble and the Blitz could be scoring there, and turned that completely on its head.
And we are unsure of the time left on the clock, but there can't be too much time left now, and frustration on this Blitz sideline as they are unable to convert on that 4th down, and now the Cheetahs have the ball back, leading by 4 points, 10-6, hand the ball off to number 32, counter play working to the right, unable to find a lane. Do wonder if they have plays like that in their playbook, why they've only just got them out now, as maybe they might have worked a little bit earlier on. But Blitz defense is definitely ready for the run and able to rally and stop them there.
Yeah, and really kind of stop them getting anything on the edge. Kind of what we've seen repeatedly throughout today again, about 65 yards left to go. But yeah, at this point the Cheetahs are all about trying to run down the clock now with the score the way it is.
And it might be worthwhile, it might be not. Who knows? We don't know how much time's left on the clock. As number 32 manages to break through and find a couple of yards, gets us into 3rd and 9. If anybody's putting together the stats for this game on either sideline, I would love to know what the 3rd down percentages are at the end of the game. Not just because I think the conversion rates would be interesting, but also just the volume of third downs. Both teams really seem to struggle to move the ball on first and second, and it's so important.
Yeah, I mean, even on, as you say, even on those drives when they have converted these third downs, which I don't think has been that regularly, it's been such a battle to get there. It's always been getting into that third down situation.
As the Cheetahs look to convert on 3rd and 9 here, they hand the ball off to the running back. It looks like it will be a false start by the fact that the play has been whistled dead, unless they feel like one of the defensive players was on his way to the quarterback. No, it will be a full start, so it will be 3rd and 14 for the Cheetahs inside their own territory. Probably want to get some yards just to get a bit of better position for a punt here. Although if there's any way they can get a conversion and keep the ball to themselves, they'll be in a good spot. And
2 minute warning now.
And so everybody who was wondering what the time is, we can now tell you with confidence, for the first time, we know that it is the 2-minute warning. So both teams have all of their timeouts, I believe, which means that the Blitz are able to stop the clock to get the ball back should they need to, and stop the clock when they're driving with the ball to save time. The Blitz need to get the ball back and score a touchdown to take the lead. Currently, the Cheetahs are on their way to get into 500 on the season if they can see out the win here. They come with a condensed trips bunch set as the quarterback drops back to pass, looks for his receiver on the sideline, makes the catch, and he's able to get a few more yards. And now this gets very interesting as they are at 4th and 3. Clock should stop. And do you go for it here?
No. I think you leave the hands in your defense, who have been the best part of your team all day. Punt the ball away, and you leave your defense to do the work. You might try and get them offside here, but the Blitz should be expected.
Well, Chris, no matter your years of experience and knowledge, they have said that it is all worth nothing, and they have gone against you and are looking to try and move the sticks with their offense instead of punting them into deep territory. If it works out right, then they can wave that in your face, as they should be able to seal the game out. But if they're wrong, it could come back to haunt them. Let's see what they do here. And they do get a jump, but not enough to draw the offside. Looks like they probably are going to get a delay of game. And and they are looking at 4th and about 7 or 8, where they will now punt. So good job there, Chris.
Yeah.
And this is a big drive for the Blitz. This isn't just a big drive for this game. I think this really sets the tone for future games if they're able to come out with a win at the end of this one, especially given the manner of how the game's played out.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of sort of where the Blitz are at this year, there hasn't been many teams over the last decade plus that have actually come here and won games. So to be able to add that to your resume is huge for the Cheetahs. So just a last push to really see this out for them.
And a good snap, good punt, nice bit of hang time, awkward end over end punt as number 8 takes the punt and runs it down the sideline, able to make quite a few yards, not ruled out of bounds, and he is finally ruled out of bounds at the 37-yard line. I thought he might have stepped out of bounds a little bit earlier than that,
as well.
But the referee has called it out of bounds there, and so the Blitz will have to work hard to get the ball into the end zone. Good spot there. So it's a bit bittersweet, because I suppose if you turn around to them and said they returned the ball to the 35 or so, they would have been like, yeah, that's great. You showed them that play and they should have been in the end zone.
I think, well, there's that element as well, but I think we're maybe beginning to see why Britball teams really don't have that good of punting, because that's the best punt we've seen all day by a long way, and it ends up in the biggest return by a long way as well. So maybe the terrible punt strategy is the way to go. The
15-yard punt that rolls along the floor for an extra 15 is an undefeated punt at this Britball level, as they come out in a spread formation to try and start this final drive of the game. QB drops back, looking for somebody on the left, and the ball hits the floor, and honestly not a bad play to be honest, because you don't want that clock to keep rolling. You don't want a player to just be down in bounds like that, do you?
No, not with so little time left, and I don't believe they have all their timeouts left either. I think they've maybe got 2 remaining.
I think
could
they
be
might
wrong.
have all. I don't remember either team using a timeout to start in this second half, but could be wrong. But either way, they're going to have to
possibly, yeah.
move the ball quite a lot themselves without thinking about the timeouts. As they come out again in that spread look. Hertfordshire showing pressure but not actually bringing it. Quarterback drops out, looks to the left, throws it out to number 8 on the sideline. He is tackled in bounds, crucially. And I believe a timeout will be called by the London Blitz. And unable to hear clarification from the referee as to which timeout that was, but they have taken a timeout to stop the clock, so they will be looking at 3rd and short. Not sure how many timeouts they have, but this is a really awkward situation for them because you might want to run the ball here, but you definitely don't want to burn any timeouts to do so.
No, for sure. But if they do have 2 left, then you kind of put all your eggs in the basket of this drive, so you're not too worried about it. But that was a beautiful ball on that last play as well.
As they come out with trips, they do look to pass. All of their players running hitches there, and it looks like number 8 came down with the ball, has been tackled, and looks very ginger there on the floor. So they should get the conversion. Seems to have cost the player his arm, as it looks like he might have had a dislocation there, unfortunately. We hope he's okay. As they will set up to go again on 1st and 10.
It's a likely bit of timeout from the Blitz.
And still unsure of whether that is their 1st, 2nd or 3rd. And so they will be coming out on 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line, motioning into trips now, and these are some massive, massive plays coming up. So don't go anywhere as the quarterback is ready to take the snap. Drops back, looks out to his left, finds a receiver going to the end zone, is picked off by number 23 of the Hertfordshire Cheetahs at the 6-yard line. That is Tyrrell Jeffers sealing the game for the Cheetahs.
The 6th turnover by the London Blitz today.
And that is pretty much how this game should end, honestly, given how the game has gone back and forth throughout it. But what a shame for this Blitz team. They've managed to get some plays together. They've definitely been better through the air in the game as the game's gone on, but just could not put it together for enough plays in a row to move the sticks and get into the end zone.
Yeah, and certainly I think, from a Hertfordshire standpoint, this is an absolutely monumental win for them. But as well as that, I feel like the defense sealing the game is probably how it should be done to end today's game.
Especially those defensive backs as well, because those DBs have been the ones to really make a difference there. As we see the kneel down did not go how it was expected to, and we'll see what the referees rule here.
They get called a personal foul and sportsmanlike's 2 hands.
And so an unsportsmanlike has been called, I think, for trying to interfere with the kneel down. And so the game will be kneeled down eventually. and we will see if this is the end of the game or not.
I believe it should be. Yep.
And that is the end of this game. The Hertfordshire Cheetahs have come on the road to Finsbury Park and taken down the London Blitz. Hertfordshire now moving to 2-2 on the season, getting to 500 with 2 losses against the Warriors and a win against both the Solent Thrashers and the London Blitz. The London Blitz now moving to 1-3 on what's been a challenging season for them so far. And surprising game, very tight game, back and forth. Who's your player of the game?
Well, I considered giving it to one of the players in the secondary, given that the sheer volume of turnovers, but it kind of felt like they all had one. So it's definitely going to go for me to 71. To go to number 71, Andy Dickerson. He was a constant presence in the Blitz backfield all day, caused them all sorts of issues. And I just thought everything good that happened behind him came as a result of the pressure he was getting.
So you nearly got it there, Chris. It was Andy Dickens.
Oh, come on!
So
sorry.
close, so
sorry,
close.
Andy. I do apologise. I'm not good with names.
we promise. Honestly, the fact that we notice a interior defensive lineman enough to even get close to learning your name should be a compliment. But that is the end here in Finsbury Park. Thank you very much for watching this game. Thank you very much if you stayed along to watch both the London Blitz B Mavericks game as well as this one. If you enjoy this content, if you enjoy watching our games, be sure to hit not only the subscribe button on YouTube, but hit that notify me button. Make sure you're always being told when our live streams are going ahead. And that will also let you know when we have the rundown with Oz and Micah, as well as Britball with the Breens, featuring your one and only Chris Breen, who's been here to my left all day. A hell of a way to make his acquaintance to me, standing here for 6 odd hours. And we will be signing off. Thank you so much for being with us today, and have a great bank holiday weekend. See you next time.